I will say it's very, very good for an indie game.
He can say that because we're not endorsed.
I could also say that because I've taken game design classes.
Decent flex, but okay.
Yeah, bite me.
I have only
Oh.
You have a
designed many
girlfriend.
games.
No one
I
said it had
thought
to be
Jesse
a.
said
No one
no.
said it had
I
to be
have
a.
a girlfriend.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't have to be a sexy thing. Just bite me, coward. Prove your worth.
Gird your loins.
And with that, I think we should start today.
The tone has been set.
Gird your
Boy.
loins.
Your loins.
No, do not say it like that.
Gird your loins, lass.
Okay.
All right. The past few years in the Ohari, and in this specific corner of it, have been hard. The previous Sultan of Korizo, the city that you all are familiar with, and that is our starting city, died and left the rulership to his two sons. However, they ignored their father's wish and split the city in two, each ruling one half. And since then, the abrasion between the two rulerships has caused strife. Bloodshed is not flowing through the streets as of yet, but there are rumors and whispers that it is not far off. However, pulling back from the city, we start today in a small suburban town to Korizo. About population of 500 or so. Very small, very few buildings. The town of Fountainwell was started as just a brief stop for travelers on their way to the city to provide them with cheap food and cheap lodging for the night before they made the final push. You all have made your way to this city for one reason or another, and the night begins to grow late as you all push into the city and find yourselves frequenting the Empty Jug Inn, a small inn and tavern slash coffee house that is pretty much the only place of this type in this small little area. As you guys step in and as you guys take your seats, you find that the low squat tables have different cushions and fabrics that drape from the walls around them to give everything a more cooler atmosphere. And while not lavish, is still comfortable. The inn is relatively full at the moment since it is past the evening meal and everyone is getting their last little bit of nourishment before the rest of the night goes on. Darion, I'll start with you. You have found a seat in the far corner by a fireplace.
Looks comfortable. I am going to go sit over there. Am I accompanied at this time? Or is it
You
just-
are alone at this time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna go sit down and pull out a book and do some reading.
Something you know about this town is that this is a very popular place for slavers to stop and rest for the night before they push on to the market. It being this area's equivalent of Saturday, and tomorrow being the big market, it's more likely than not that the last stragglers coming in from the desert with their haul are going to be swinging in for the night.
Okay. In that case, I would like to just kind of look around and see if I can recognize anyone in the crowd that might be a merchant.
All right, go and make a perception roll. Rin,
Yeet.
you came into town because one of your contacts gave a very cryptic piece of information saying that there was a job to be had out here.
Well, I do like jobs.
You are looking for a figure who is probably working for some form of guild. Most likely in this area would be Heaven's Tower, who he would be working for.
Mm-hmm.
Cool name. Just
It took a lot of work.
That is a 21.
All right. Rin, go ahead and make your perception check as well.
Alrighty.
And while you make that, Keitha.
Old habits die hard.
For some time.
Old habits. Liberty. You've heard that Fountainwell has a very specific type of coffee. This tavern in particular has a weird way of brewing it, and the water that they get is special in its mineral balance, giving the coffee itself a very interesting taste, and you have yet to come out to taste it until tonight.
I rolled an 18 on that.
All right.
I will of course be ordering a coffee, and I'll probably find a seat, quiet corner to sit in and try
Right.
this new beverage.
Darion, as you scan the coffee house, you see several different patrons, most of which look to be basic working class, probably people who work in this town itself. The barkeep is a darker skinned gentleman with a pointed beard, pretty basically dressed. There are several different races in here, including a table full of gnomes off to one side, all of which are dressed in workers' uniforms. They probably came from the water purification plant that is south of here, up the river.
Okay.
As you look around, there are very few people of note. You see a beggar here going from table to table, begging for the scraps. You see a dark cloaked gentleman off in the corner, as they always seem to be. You see someone coming from the bar, clutching a steaming cup of what appears to be coffee, which is odd considering the time. Keitha, what do you look like? Liberty, what do you look like right now?
So, an average size woman, one would guess from the clothing choice. Mostly lighter fabrics, but hard to discern any features. I have a scarf over my head and most of my face. Darker complexion, dark eyes, but that's about all that's visible at the moment.
And as you continue scanning the room, you also see a gentleman who has just walked in the door and is also scanning the room. Rin, what do you look like at the moment?
Do I know about the reputation of this town?
What are you actually asking?
Do I know its propensity for a slaver hotspot?
Yes. No, you are very aware of that.
I look exactly as described. I am a tall, like porcelain, snow white tiefling, with golden horns, solid gold eyes, and gold nails.
So someone that everyone would notice as soon as they walk in the door, yes?
Absolutely.
And as you finish scanning the room, Rin, you see several different people, those of whom have been described as well, including Darion, who's sitting off in the corner, who we already know what he looks like because of last campaign. But for those who are new to listening, Darion, what do you look like?
Darion is a black-haired gentleman in his mid-30s. He often wears just normal dark-toned shawls and robes. I don't even know how to describe that beard. What kind of beard is that?
Goatee.
I guess.
Van Dyke.
It's Van Dyke, but with the sides. Where is Discord?
Van Dyke goatee.
We'll go with that, sure.
Sounds good to me.
A Satan beard.
Surprisingly accurate.
If anyone could describe that better, by all means, go for it. Satan beard. Foreshadowing.
Don't talk like that, man. You don't even know.
Anyways.
I definitely notice him. I'm going to eye him, presumably as he crosses the room, but I'm not going to approach him.
But finish your description, please. Dark hair.
I don't know. Dark hair, wears long flowing robes, dark skinned. What is that? No, not olive. Tan.
It's like kind of an olive to dark tan, sort of within that range.
I'm very bad at describing people, as you will quickly find.
Are we talking Mediterranean or Middle Eastern?
What the hell's the difference?
Somewhere in the middle.
Gotcha.
And as you finish your scan, Rin, you see the dark figure in the corner as well. And he is most likely the person you have been sent to contact.
I go to the bar first.
All right. The bartender seems to ignore you.
A dangerous game.
But
That's
a
how it
nice
works out
touch
here.
nonetheless.
Indeed. I start playing with my dagger. Sort of
As you
doing like just spinning it like a coin across my hands.
As you begin the threatening pirouette.
No, it's more graceful than threatening, honestly.
The fact that it's a knife is what makes it threatening.
It's
Yeah.
Precisely.
It's an armed
Not a-
tiefling. That's an issue.
The other patrons at the bar begin to be a bit nervous, and a few of them stand and go find seats elsewhere. The barkeep takes a minute, notices you, tries to ignore it, and then comes over, leaning on the bar. He looks you down and asks, "Was there something you needed?"
God, voice. I keep defaulting to Australian.
I mean, if you wanna, go for it.
We'll see.
I don't make the rules here. I do make the rules
Literally your job.
here.
I don't make the rules. I am the rules.
I am the rules.
I'll have 2 ales. No, my God, I'm back to Europe. I'll have
Do you
2
have
ales.
the coin to pay?
Aye.
3 silver.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that is a wild markup for
That is a wild markup.
typical ale. Is there a sign in this room stating prices?
As you look around, there is a sign that states what is provided. A few of them have scribbled prices beside them. The ale definitely would be a bit more along the lines of 4 to 5 copper, though.
Let's see. Let me get in my roleplay headspace.
He's putting on a turban right now.
No, I'm not Voldemort.
I thought about it. I really did. But I don't have one, so that didn't end up working out.
I have a shamag,
Borrow one
but
of
I don't
M.
have a camera, so...
Do you have any scarves? Does M have any scarves?
It would also be very culturally tone deaf for me to wear.
Very true. Very, very true.
If I was playing Jarrus, I might do it, but that's because that's that character.
Mm-hmm.
It would also be hard to
I,
put on over this headset.
Also
I
that
incline
too.
my head towards the gentleman in the back corner and say, "Now, would you really want to offend him by marking up his ale?"
Roll a persuasion check. First roll of the game.
Second or third. We did perception checks.
Oh, right, yeah. You're right.
First... Well, no, never mind.
First actual role-playing roll of the game.
That was going to be my argument, but then I figured it's like, well, I guess rolling perception was on my end, so...
Oh, these are not Rin dice. 13 plus 7, dirty 20.
All right. He looks over, and you don't necessarily see a look of recognition, but you do see a look of understanding the idea of what you're saying. He his shoulders slightly sunk and he sighs, and he says, 8 copper.
I pay the man.
He gets you your ale.
I take both ales and I carry one to the gentleman in the corner.
All right. As you make it to the gentleman in the corner, you look down, and he's seated cross-legged on the far side of a table, playing with a set of dice just betwixt his fingers. And on the table is a moderately sized coin that depicts a broken keep, which tells you 2 things. He is definitely part of Heaven's Tower, and this is definitely a hit job. This is not an escort or anything like that. This is a hit.
My favorite.
Record.
I sit down.
Ever since Rin has walked in, I have been sipping on my coffee, but also watching him very intently.
You and most of the patrons in here. As you
I've
take,
been wearing a small smile this entire time.
He loves the attention. As you take a seat down across from the dark, shadowy figure, you get a better look at how he's dressed. He is dressed in mostly dark to black robes, black turban around his head that has a veil completely covering everything but the eyes. As you get a bit closer, you also notice that he has a full breastplate on. Not shining metal, but darkened and worn with age. As you sit down, his eyes flash up, and you see a look of recognition. So someone did end up coming. Welcome.
Ready. I slide one of the ales towards him.
Oh, much appreciated. He takes
only
a
polite.
long, deep draft from it. There is a slave movement coming through tonight. They are a bit late, and are the last ones to come back in. I plan on taking them out.
How many?
Last counted, there were 3 well-armed men.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a plan?
Several that could possibly work. I was planning on waiting until I actually saw them and saw where they were making camp.
Very well.
If I can remove their merchandise before they leave in the morning and without them noticing, that would be best, though I do not believe that violence is avoidable.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
I am not sure I
Jacob,
want it
this
to
is
be
me
avoidable.
checking. He is trying. These are 3 slavers coming in. We are to either kill them or steal their merchandise without them noticing.
Pretty much.
Gotcha. Carry on.
He finishes what he says and takes another deep draft from the mug that you brought him.
I suspect you know my preferences.
I have a passing knowledge of who you are, and yes.
So that just leaves the question of, is there a way you would prefer to handle this, or is it in my hand?
He sits there for a second before looking up and saying, "Few less slavers in the world wouldn't be a terrible thing."
I couldn't agree more. Very well. You have yourselves a bargain.
For form of payment, I can offer 50 gold.
Suitable.
Are there any other questions?
Time would you like to head out?
I am planning to wait until they enter here. This is a good vantage point, and I would like to see how they are armed before I make my move.
Very well. In that case, we shall wait.
And you both sit there in silence for a minute as you begin to just make more observations about the place around you. Darion, the golden tiefling, the pale and gold tiefling, walked across the room and started talking to the shady figure. It looks sketch, not gonna lie.
Sure. And now they've had a discussion and they're just sitting there.
More or less.
Well, if they already had their conversation, there's no point in trying to eavesdrop. I don't know for the time being. Come back to me.
All right. Liberty, what are you up to?
It's very obvious from the body language that this is not a typical human and tiefling interaction. They're speaking with each other more as equals rather than master and slave.
With your passive insight, definitely.
Interesting. It is also the most... It is very rare in general to see a free tiefling walking about, and the appearance is very intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm beautiful.
Very much so. Do you moisturize?
Actually, the trick is in the dust baths.
A tiefling that has time to care for their appearance is very rare.
Can't tell if you're actually saying this in character or not.
I have a feeling this conversation will eventually happen, so might as well.
It's taking place telepathically over the tiefling thought network.
For the record, I look.
Is that
the
thought THOUGHT or thought
Yes.
as in THOT?
Don't you
No,
dare!
It's a
Just
bra.
yes.
He's
The
gonna
answer
come
is
back in
yes.
like session 4. We're gonna come across a brothel, and it's gonna call the Thought Network.
Make the notes. Making the notes.
Don't you dare.
Don't choke, Jacob.
So, they've finished their conversation, and now they look like they're just kind of waiting around.
Yep.
Yeah. I've been sipping my coffee very slowly anyway, so I still have about a half a cup left.
And on the note of the coffee,
Yes.
the mineral flavor that is added by presumably the water is surprisingly a different kind of bitter from normal coffee, and it gives it a very almost muddy flavor. It would be in a very acquired taste.
Mm-hmm. Drinkable, but it's certainly part of the reason why it is not too difficult to drink it slowly.
Precisely.
Um,
It's like right in the middle between beer and coffee.
which is, I mean, with the
An
amount
abomination.
of Yes. I was going to say, with the amount of microbreweries around here, I'm sure one of those has already existed in this
Did
world.
you guys know that there is a Lovecraft brewery?
Did you come back in time and start your own brewery?
I wish I had. It is a real thing that I wish I had discovered long ago.
Anyways, that's off
It's
topic.
wonderful. Yes, it's off topic, but it is
Simply better.
wonderful, and everyone needs to know.
Okay. But I will go ahead, pick up my things, and make my way to their table. Excuse me, gentlemen. May I join you here?
Would I have picked up on the fact that she's just been staring at me constantly for the past 5-10 minutes?
I mean, yes, but everyone has.
Yeah, fair. I incline my head towards my my shady buddy.
Who has been staring at me.
He looks up and gestures to the side of the table that it's not taken.
Take a seat. I have my crescent moon medallion probably hanging on the outside of my robes. Just because. You're in town, yes? Toward the tiefling.
You cut out there for me. What'd you say?
Sorry. You're in Noan town, yes?
For now.
As a friendly word of caution, displaying weapons so openly in such a crowded place is not safest decision.
You could say that about just about anywhere.
Out of places where it is more commonplace, but in areas such as this, there are certain people who are perceived as a threat even without weapons.
You can just say that they are racist against tieflings. I'm quite used to it.
Used to it, you are quite careless.
Careless or confident. I'm turning into my gunslinger.
Oh no.
What have I done?
May I have your name, sir?
Rin.
Pleasure to meet you, Rin.
Likewise, Ms.
May call me Liberty.
Say that one more time.
Liberty.
Liberty. Likewise, Miss Liberty.
Have a place to stay tonight.
Aye.
Sorry, that took me way too long to realize which I that was. It's like, and he's gonna finish the sentence anytime now.
I don't.
I don't know.
Do not.
For your sake, I hope it has locks.
For their sake, they best hope it has locks.
You are very confident, aren't you?
With reason.
As you guys flirt, you notice that your dark, shady counterpart has stiffened as the front door bashes open, and a bellow is heard for beer. A very stout gentleman, wrapped in different forms of leather armor, is flanked by two other mook-looking individuals. As they strut into the bar, you watch the tavern keeper very quickly and busily start moving about to put some drinks together. Darion, you also notice this. It's pretty easy to see.
I'm assuming he said bean as in a name, or...
No, beer.
Oh, beer. Okay.
Sense over internet.
Bean! I want a bean!
Easy bean! It's a precious bean!
I heard it as BN, and then I thought, it's like, is he saying being, or is he saying
I
like
heard it
BN, and that's like an Arabic name?
I heard it as the most Scottish beer you've ever heard.
The Scots
You would be predisposed to hear it that way. I would not.
The Arabic language wills the Aris similarly to the way the Scots do.
It's delightful.
It is very...
Anyways, Rin, you would very easily notice these as most likely your targets.
I've been keeping half an eye on the door most of the time.
Based on their outfits and equipment, would I be able to discern their occupation as well?
These, as you look them over, you go and make an insight or investigation check.
Whom?
Go with insight. It is something I'm more proficient in. That would be a 23.
These are definitely slavers. The amount of chains and clasps and ropes that are affixed to their belts, as well as the wicked-looking weapons, most definitely show them to be people who impose their will on others. That will also help you notice that the dark, shady individual that you guys are sitting beside has taken very keen interest in these newcomers, as well as the pale gold tiefling that you're sitting with.
I would like to roll sleight of hand to very subtly place my lantern under the table where it cannot easily be seen.
I feel like what is your passive? Oh yeah, with your passive, you can very easily do so.
Dope. I do that.
To clarify, he hid a lantern under the table?
You don't know.
Okay. About 3/4 of the way that conversation, I was hoping to move over and try and eavesdrop. I'm like about 1 or 2 tables away.
Go ahead and make a generalized stealth check.
Oh, fuck.
He trips over a chair.
You're not wrong.
Is it a 1?
I decided to roll my purple and gray instead of keep rolling the metal dice, and I got a 1.
He trips and he's holding an ear trumpet.
I do believe that with your stealth, that makes it a 3.
Yes, it does. But I feel like that doesn't matter.
As you begin moving, there is a fire in between you and the group that's talking, and you go to sit by it to try to look a bit more casual, except the stones around it are a lot hotter than you thought.
Oh,
and as you put your hand down to rest your behind on the ground, you find it burning, and you that just kind of saunter back over to your own table.
All right. So since that didn't work, I am definitely back more towards the bar again. And at that point, how many of them were there? 3 of them that came in?
There were 3 mooks that came in, yeah.
Okay. I would like to just study their clothing, see if I can gather any specific information on affluence or what they look like they do for a living.
With your passive insight of 16, yeah, no, you've also dealt with slavers before. Most likely not these specific ones because it's a pretty popular profession at the moment. But yeah, no, these guys definitely are slavers.
Okay. Also, I totally forgot that I have a passive of 16.
Yeah, you have a passive of 16. I'm trying to keep an eye on all that to make sure that I give you guys as much information as you would get.
Wonderful. Yeah, I definitely noticed them then.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to do anything else since I've made a minor fool of myself, and I'm just going to try and remain casual again.
Did we notice him like burn himself?
I mean, yes, but it also doesn't stand out as much as I make it stand out.
It stands out for me.
It definitely stood out for Darion, and he felt himself the fool, but
it interrupted him before he got far enough to look like he was snooping on us.
Precisely.
Gotcha.
He didn't actually make it close enough to you guys to be considered at all a threat.
Noted. Definitely not after he burned himself.
From your side, it looked like someone moved to the fire, sat down for a second, then forgot something at their table and went back.
So now my impression of Darion is a space cadet, a forgetful person.
So far, sure.
Marvelous. I am
So
amused.
These actions
when
have
the
consequences.
he's clearly an NPC then.
Definitely.
NPC energy.
Maybe he's a quest giver. So when the slavers walk in, Liberty's like subconsciously clutching her amulet, but besides that, she's working very hard to appear nonchalant, as if she's just noticed them as people and is not concerned with every single move they make.
Have I noticed her anxiousness?
Roll opposing deception and insight checks.
Deception, or is this performance?
This is this is deception. I want it to be performance, but it's deception.
Fair enough. I blame you for this, Kelso. You put bad energy.
Forge, what did you roll?
A 15.
That'll do it.
Liberty, what did you roll?
Total 4. That's with my
Which-
+3 bonus.
Yeah, that's a 1. So Rin, you do notice that the person who sat with you guys has taken as keen of an interest as you and your companion in the slavers that just came in.
You know, it might be easier if you breathe and don't stare directly at them.
It's so great because I was actually about to say that she's probably subconsciously holding her breath.
Take a picture, it'll last longer.
Breathe, child, breathe.
Sorry. Distracted for a moment there. This coffee is very strong.
Not very good at disguises yet, are you?
Oh, I suppose it depends on what I'm trying to hide.
Rin just raises an eyebrow.
You have
The
some-
shady individual between you guys looks very confused. I am very sorry, Mr. Ghost. Is she with you?
For now, I suppose.
He seems to give up.
Mhm.
What are the 3 slavers doing at this point in time?
Guzzling beer.
They have completely taken over the bar, not necessarily physically shoving the other patrons away, but definitely imposing on the other patrons and making them move, and are now definitely guzzling beer.
All right.
So you said they had maces?
No, for the most part, it's scimitars.
Gotcha. Sorry, I must have misheard.
But they also have like different chains and ropes and clasps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Tools of the trade.
Decisions.
That is what this entire game is, yes.
The worst.
Yes, and they all have consequences. Somehow.
All of them. And I love it.
Decisions, and all
I'm
of
going
them
to
wrong.
make eggs for breakfast. Noted. What do you mean noted?
Taking a note of that.
What? Why? Don't worry about it.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Or die.
Or die.
It might be
I got a 12. Interesting.
It might be within interest to have them be reasonably drunk. I would like to, if I can, subtly cast Prestidigitation to accentuate the flavor of the nearest one's alcohol.
Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Okay. Sleight of hand bonus. Okay. I am putting the purple one down because I don't trust you for the rest of the day. Are you fucking kidding me? I rolled the metal one, and I rolled the metal 1.
This is usually where a friend of mine says it's something about dice loyalty. You betrayed the one, and so now he feels hurt.
Can we roll?
What is the reach on Prestidigitation?
10 feet. That'd be
Okay,
hilarious
so
if
you-
it was touch. I had to poke his gun, just stick my finger in his drink.
You have to get relatively close to be able to do that, and you nonchalantly lean up against one of the pillars that separates the bar from the rest of the dining room. You wave your hand through the air, and the slavers don't notice, but the barkeep does. And he kind of looks you over with a very curious look before the gentleman right in front of him says, "Barkeep, this is the best beer I've had. Do you want honey?" And he just kind of looks him over and then looks you over, then looks him over like, "Yes, I do. I appreciate that you enjoy it." And he just kind of stares at you for a bit.
I just give him a slight smiling nod.
Enigmatic nod.
You have a feeling that he's probably going to get a pretty good tip from that.
I'm gonna try again with how close are the three of them together? I would assume they're all right next to each other.
Yeah, they're relatively right next to each other. They're all within like a 5-foot area.
When the barkeep presumably pours a second round, I would like to try again with the second one.
Okay, roll again.
Which one do I choose?
I'm gonna give you disadvantage on this one.
Roll them both.
Well, that wasn't the way I wanted to roll both, but I'll take it, I guess. I rolled an 18. And I rolled a 2.
Oh.
Oh.
That's still a
Making
5.
You get the feeling that several other patrons are starting to become aware that you are magically infusing the beer. The slavers have yet to fully notice, but if you continue this, it's likely they will.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna call. I'm not gonna double down for a third time.
Is this something that has been noticeable at our table?
Oh yeah, no. There's a guy who's moved up to the front and is trying to nonchalantly enhance the drinks. The barkeep hasn't stopped him yet because no one's keeled over. But it's getting awkward on that side of the building.
I'm going to play it off, I guess. And
Yes, make it worse. Do it. I dare you. You coward. You won't. No balls.
I'm not going to try and do anything that needs to be rolled for, but I am going to smirk a bit.
I'm pretty sure those are fighting words to a DM.
I'm going to do something that requires no roll. Oh.
Oh, yes.
That's not what I meant, and you know it. Who's the brave one now, you bitch? See, it's great because since I brought that up last night, now Jacob understands it.
Anyways, what are you trying to do to nonchalantly just brush it off?
I am slightly failing at hiding a smile, and I have my hand to my face, just over my mouth slightly to the side. As if it's comical to me, and it shouldn't be.
Okay. Roll a performance check.
Let me use this charisma-based ability, but
or
not
deception.
roll.
Okay. Jesse.
They're the same thing
black
for
or
you.
purple?
Purple.
I'm assuming you said purple.
Yes.
Okay. Performance or deception, which is the same. Which is a total of 17.
Okay. So the other patrons who had been noticing start to get the idea that you're just trying to prank someone. And a few of them move farther away so that when you get your face beaten, they're not in the splash zone. But for the most part, you seem to convince the crowd that you're not
poisoning them.
up to anything terribly malicious.
I kind of just look at the barkeep with that being said, and I order an ale for myself.
He poisons.
He looks like someone who can hold his ale.
As you get a bit closer to take the ale, one of the slavers sidles up beside you and slaps you on the arm. He's definitely tipsy, and you smell the awful, awful stank of the ale on his breath. And he just kind of shoves his tankard in your hand and says, "No, try this, try this."
Have a taste of your own medicine.
Hey, look on the bright side, it doesn't taste like medicine. I kind of look at him like with just a slightly agape mouth, because it's shocking on the one hand, and on the other hand, it's very hilarious.
This is really
All
making
right.
me want to try honeyed mead.
And I take the mug from him and I drink.
And honestly, on that point, it does taste a bit like mead, just because of how you flavor it. And it's not bad, but the taste on your tongue, not that tingling feeling, not the alcoholic feeling, but the just absolute rancid feeling of your breath immediately stinks now.
Ooh. All right.
It's real bad ale.
Okay. Just in general, it's very bad ale, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it tastes great.
Okay. I savor it a little bit, and I say, that is pretty good, and I hand it back to him. I said,
Oh no! Drink more! Drink more!
I chug the whole thing.
No.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
It was bad. I didn't think it'd be strong though.
Oh,
You chugged it.
It's extra strong because it's bad.
That makes sense. Wait, how
You
big of a
familiar
mug
with
are we talking about?
moonshine?
Like a mug, or are we talking about like a normal glass? Like
We're talking about
fine.
a pint.
oh shit.
It
Okay, I
comes in
don't
pints?
chug a pint. I don't think I could do that with water.
I was about to say, oof.
Are you going to try to resist chugging a pint?
I'm going to drink it enthusiastically. I'm not going to chug it. I didn't realize it was that much.
Rin is enjoying the hell out of himself right now.
Either way, I'll take that Constitution saving throw, please. Thank you.
Liberty is riding the
Where's-
line between
where
amused and
is-
concerned.
It's a saving throw, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. So that's its own modifier. A total of 13.
Okay. You are not drunk. You have not drank
Yeah.
that much yet. And it's likely that the people that you're trying to get intoxicated haven't drank that much yet. But you definitely feel it in the back of your skull now.
Okay.
That whole a little lighter than air feeling.
Okay. I tell the barkeep, this is good. It's it's for free, but I guess I'll tip anyway. And I give him like 5 copper.
The slaver
Okay.
slaps the hand away
good
of
then.
the barkeep as he goes to reach for it and slides it in front of himself and says, "No, this will pay for a jug. Yes, bring more."
So Liberty is watching this with growing concern. That young man is going to get himself into trouble
Bless
if he is not careful.
He's gonna have to adjust the next pint that barkeep brings out too.
It's bold of you to assume he's not already in big trouble.
Huh.
I have I look at the barkeep with a slightly widened eye when he gets his hand slapped, because that surprised me.
The barkeep may or may not be pissed at you now.
Going to excuse me, gentlemen. Your company has been wonderful, but I need a moment. I'll leave my coffee at the table, but I will make my way over, and I'll make my way over to Darion. Does he already have another mug at this point, Or
Yeah, he's
are they serving-
getting another filled mug shoved into his hand
Oh,
as
fuck.
the slavers begin pouring themselves very tall pitchers. With your
am-
passive insight, he is not excited. He is
No.
not happy about this.
Yes. I'm going to put one hand on his shoulder and the other hand on the hand with the mug, kind of gently putting it back onto the bar. No. I believe we agree that that is enough for tonight, and I'm going to cast guidance on him.
Remind me, that one gives me a D4 to...
Ability checks, not
Okay.
saving throws, but
I remembered it was a D4, so that counts, right?
yeah, no, that's really good.
And that lasts for... It's an ability check you make in another minute, I do believe.
Yes,
Okay.
but there's also cantrips, so.
Okay.
No.
You see one of the slavers' heads flip around to you and say, "Begone, wench, let your father drink with us."
Was that a burp or a snark?
A snort. Apparently, Darion doesn't look his age.
To be fair, as soon as she gets up, Liberty, like, she had her veil down a bit or scarf down while she was drinking for coffee, but as soon as she gets up, Liberty would have it wrapped up. So she just looks like a woman completely covered. Her age is not super discernible at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so her face isn't showing right now.
Nope.
Just the eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do-
She doesn't quite have a turban going on, but her head and hair are wrapped enough, so
Oh, okay.
seems to have one of those hairstyles that kind of comes.
Upwards a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, her face is not showing.
Question for the DM. I know that my description of Zephyr and what the book describes tiefling eyes are different.
My eyes look very human.
Okay.
They're dark, like a dark brown, but with the white. Is it sclera? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yeah, because
Yeah, white
I
sclera.
guess traditionally tiefling eyes are one solid color.
Yeah, no.
They're at
discernible
least
people.
missing the iris, yeah.
Like mine. Okay.
Like Forge in real life.
That doesn't give me help, but yes,
No,
I
that was a
believe you.
joke. But yeah, like my eyes look nothing like the albino whose table I was at.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't know where the DM sat on that, so I wasn't sure what I was.
It's
what I
it's
was
a
looking
flavor thing that you can do for your characters, and I will do for mine.
at. Fair enough. Okay, so I don't recognize her as a tiefling then.
No, definitely
no,
not.
I definitely look human.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. He said, "Let your father drink." Right? That's what he said.
Yes.
You
Mhm.
wench. Okay. No, she is probably right. Samantha, I did ask her to stop me if I needed to. It has been great. I will see you guys around. Yes, and
Roll a persuasion check.
okay.
You got guidance.
If I pick up the mug as I turn to leave, do I get advantage?
No.
Okay, that's persuasion, right? No, it's all the same. 16.
Is that what
Okay.
the D4?
That's actually without the D4.
Go ahead and roll the d4.
Okay, I'll take.
Use the guidance. It's a cantrip. I can
Trust
do it
me,
again.
use the guidance.
That's a 4, so that's 20.
Hey, there we go.
Yes.
That helps a lot.
I appreciate the warning from the DM. Use the
As-
D4.
As you stand, the group seems to just begrudgingly let you go, as one of them shouts a few insults. Ah, you teetotaler! Yeah, go on. Get out of here. Give me his mug.
You bunch of milk drinkers.
Yeah, no, like, as he's setting it down, I'm shoving the mug toward them. I'll just keep my hand on...
You seem to have disentangled him from the group of cutthroats.
Yeah, men are not that hard to persuade.
I would take personal offense to that, but it's true.
It's all about just knowing what they want.
Facts, run around me with a bunch of hot tamales and voila.
It's very true.
Is that how your girlfriend got you? Wasn't that easy?
She got him by being a hot tamale.
Ooh.
Remind me to reuse that one.
You're welcome. Right. So I'm going to guide...
Hot tamale.
I'm going to guide... You okay there, DM?
I cracked myself up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Continue.
You precious bean.
Bean!
I'm going...
I hate you all.
You know you love us. I'm going to guide Darion back to the table with...
So you disentangled him from cutthroats to lead him to cutthroats.
I wasn't going to take him directly back to your guys' table. I will take him to, like, the nearest empty table near you guys, but I can already tell that your companion is not comfortable with uninvited company. I'm not going to pull this guy who draws way too much attention to himself right over to you two.
As she's leading me away from them, I tell her, I am really not one to talk, but the three of you draw almost as much attention as I have.
Really, Papa, you are too much.
Particularly the white one.
Hey, that's racist.
Welcome to Skulldrag.
This is not Skuldra.
I've been saving that all game.
There are no white people in the Ohari, let's be honest.
With that much sun...
Which is why the white tiefling would stick out.
You may call me Karen.
I didn't know he had the hair for it.
I'm afraid that Rain is about to ask for the manager.
I genuinely thought about it when the barkeep tried to
Calls the
upsell.
barkeep over.
No, wait, I have a coupon.
Oh no, it's too real. Change the subject. Change the subject.
Right, sorry, DM.
This coupon is only good in Yatsang. What are you doing?